It was an early morning in New York City, one of those peaceful hours when the streets were relatively calm, with only a few people bustling about on their way to work. A soft drizzle misted the sidewalks, giving the air a refreshing coolness. Scarlett Johansson, hidden beneath a hooded jacket and wearing simple jeans, carefully cradled a small carrier. Inside, an injured stray cat let out a delicate mew. Scarlett had found this little gray cat the night before, limping and shivering near the entrance of her apartment building. The cat had a noticeable wound on its paw, and despite Scarlett's gentle approach, it was clearly in pain. Concerned and unable to ignore the cat's distress, Scarlett decided she'd bring it to the nearest veterinary clinic first thing in the morning. That clinic turned out to be Paws and Hearts, a modest facility sandwiched between a laundromat and a small grocery store. The neon sign above the door flickered slightly, and the waiting area inside looked cozy but well-worn. A few outdated magazines lay scattered on the small table, and the walls were adorned with posters about vaccination schedules, deworming tips, and pictures of rescued animals available for adoption. Although the place didn't scream state-of-the-art, it gave off a warm vibe that immediately put Scarlett at ease. As she stepped inside, she felt a wave of relief. The cat had cried softly during the cab ride, and Scarlett could sense the poor creature's stress. Now, at least, they were in a safe space where professionals could help. At the reception desk, a young woman stood flipping through a notepad, jotting down notes as she talked softly on the phone. Her name tag read Aria. She had her dark hair pulled into a simple ponytail, and her scrubs, though a bit faded, were clean and neatly pressed. Scarlett noticed the gentle tone in her voice, even as she explained something to the caller about payment plans. The conversation ended with Aria promising she would do her best to accommodate the person's situation. After hanging up, Aria turned to Scarlett with a polite smile. "Good morning. How can we help you today?" she asked, voice calm and reassuring. Scarlett placed the cat carrier on the counter, lifting the small door to reveal the trembling stray. "I found her last night. She seemed injured. I'm hoping someone here can take a look and help her out," Scarlett said, doing her best to keep her own concern under control. Aria leaned forward, peering in at the cat. Her eyes widened with empathy. "Oh, poor baby. Don't worry. We'll do our best to fix her up. If you'll just fill out this form, Doctor. Perez will see her as soon as possible." Scarlett filled out the paperwork, carefully omitting her last name. She wasn't there to attract attention, just to help the cat. As she sat down to wait, she glanced around the room. A small TV in the corner aired a looped video about common pet health tips, and a donation box for rescued animals sat half full by the reception desk. A few chairs down, an elderly man waited with a lethargic dog, and next to him, a woman tried to comfort a restless kitten in a carrier. Aria worked efficiently, guiding each person to the exam room when it was their turn. Between patients, she flipped through a worn veterinary textbook on the desk, underlining passages or scribbling notes. Scarlett observed her for a while, noticing the care and attention Aria gave to everyone who walked in. It was clear she was invested not just in a job, but in the well-being of animals and their owners alike. Before long, Aria beckoned Scarlett. "Doctor, Perez can see you now." She led Scarlett into a small exam room. The walls were pale yellow, and medical charts filled a bulletin board near the door. A friendly woman in a white coat, Dr. Perez, introduced herself and began examining the cat. The tension in Scarlett's chest eased as she saw how gently the vet handled the injured paw. "After a few moments, Doctor." Perez confirmed that the cat's paw had a minor fracture and possible infection from an untreated wound. She prescribed antibiotics and recommended a small splint. Scarlett nodded, relieved. "Thank you. I'll do whatever's necessary for her recovery," she said, stroking the cat's head. Dr. Perez smiled warmly. "We'll get her fixed up. Might take a couple of weeks for the paw to heal, but she'll be fine." While the vet stepped out to gather supplies, Scarlett noticed Aria standing by the door, typing notes into a tablet. She seemed focused. But once she sensed Scarlett's glance, she paused and offered a reassuring smile. The sincerity in her eyes struck Scarlett. Usually, a receptionist or assistant might seem distracted or rushed, yet Arya exuded a genuine calm, as if she wanted to ensure every detail was correct and every animal got the best care possible. Once the exam finished, Scarlett followed Arya back to the reception area to settle the bill. Arya gave her a quick breakdown of the costs, the exam, medication, and a follow-up appointment for the splint. Scarlett paid without hesitation. Her main concern was getting the cat well again. Then she noticed Arya's tattered textbook on the counter, some pages dog-eared, others highlighted in multiple colors. "Are you studying veterinary medicine?" Scarlett asked, curiosity piqued. Arya nodded, a hint of pride flickering across her face. "Yes, I'm in my second year. Dr. Perez lets me shadow her sometimes, and I work here part-time. It's hard juggling shifts and study, but it's worth it. I love animals so much. Always have." Scarlett closed the carrier, the cat now calming down with the help of a gentle sedative. "It's wonderful that you get real-world experience here," she remarked, "but it must be tough financially." A brief shadow crossed Arya's features. She lowered her voice, not wanting to broadcast her personal struggles to the entire clinic. "I'm behind on tuition. My family helps as much as they can, but we're not well off. I scrape by. This job covers some costs, and Dr. Perez is generous with extra hours." She shrugged, forcing a smile. "Sometimes I worry I won't make it, but I can't quit. You know, animals need good vets, and I want to be one." Scarlett felt a surge of empathy. She remembered her own early days, audition after audition, never certain if she'd book the next role or have enough to cover rent. Gently, she asked, "You're determined, aren't you? To finish school, I mean?" Arya nodded, her eyes reflecting unwavering resolve. "I can't imagine doing anything else." At that moment, the door opened and a frantic mother rushed in, one with a small dog wheezing under a blanket. Arya excused herself to assist, moving quickly but calmly to guide the woman toward an exam room. Scarlett watched as Arya seamlessly transitioned into crisis mode, organizing paperwork, comforting the worried owner, and calling Dr. Perez. Despite the pressure, Arya never lost her composure or compassion. Scarlett turned to leave, but paused at the sight of an almost empty donation jar. She noticed a small handwritten sign next to it. "Help us, help them. All donations go toward emergency care for stray or abandoned animals." With a fleeting thought, Scarlett added a generous amount of cash to the jar, hoping it might ease the strain on the clinic and on Arya's workload. She lingered a moment, torn between wanting to help Arya more directly and not wanting to intrude. Finally, when Arya returned to the reception desk, Scarlett made her decision. She pulled out a sleek business card from her wallet, one with minimal decoration, but her name embossed in subtle gold lettering, Scarlett Johansson. She held it out to Arya, who glanced at it and then back at Scarlett, confusion etched across her face. You're... Arya stammered, quickly realizing who she'd been talking to. Her eyes widened. "Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry, I had no idea." Scarlett placed a hand on Arya's arm, stopping her mid-apology. "It's okay. I came here as just another concerned pet owner, and that's how you treated me, which is exactly why I'd like to help you." She slid the card closer. "Tomorrow, call this number. It's for someone on my team who helps organize scholarships and community outreach. Let them know we met today." Arya's jaw dropped slightly, and she struggled to find words. "Ms. Johansson, I can't express how..." Scarlett offered a comforting smile. "Don't thank me yet. Just promise you'll keep studying. Someone with your dedication shouldn't have to give up on their dreams because of money." A tear pooled in Arya's eye. She nodded, barely able to speak. "I promise. I'll keep going, and if there's ever a day I can give back, I will." Scarlett gently squeezed her hand. "That's all I ask. Pay it forward when you can. And take good care of that cat for me," she added, gesturing to the carrier. Over the next few days, Arya nervously dialed the number on the card. She was met with a friendly voice that asked her to come in for a short meeting. At first, Arya worried she might be out of her depth, but she went anyway. In a modest downtown office, she learned that Scarlett Johansson had expressed a personal interest in funding part of her tuition and providing additional help for the clinic's rescue program. Arya nearly burst into tears on the spot, overwhelmed by gratitude. News spread quickly among her small circle. Dr. Perez was speechless, the staff at the clinic cheered, and Arya's family, who had sacrificed so much, finally breathed a sigh of relief. With new resources at her disposal, Arya could cut back a bit on her grueling hours and focus on her studies. Soon, her grades soared. She found time to volunteer at weekend spay and neuter drives, extending the kindness she had experienced. A few months later, Scarlett returned to Paws and Hearts for the cat's checkup. The cat, now nearly fully recovered, purred contentedly in Scarlett's arms. Arya greeted her with a bright smile, wearing crisp new scrubs, no more faded edges or dog-eared textbooks. She excitedly showed Scarlett a small corner of the waiting room they'd converted into a stray rehabilitation kiosk, funded by part of the donation money. The kiosk offered information, free samples of pet food for struggling owners, and a donation box that seemed a bit fuller this time. Scarlett listened, heart full, as Arya proudly explained the changes. "We've been able to help more people who can't afford treatment," Arya said, "and I'm on track to finish my degree. I've got 2 more years to go, but I'm not worried anymore." Scarlett knelt down to pet the cat, which looked up with lazy contentment. "I'm so glad to hear that," Scarlett said, standing back up with a warm smile. "It's amazing what you've done already. Keep going, Arya. The world needs more vets like you." Arya nodded, her eyes shining with a mix of gratitude and excitement for what lay ahead. "Thank you, Ms. Johansson," she whispered. "I won't waste this opportunity." Scarlett gave her a final nod of approval, then gently picked up the cat carrier. As she headed to the door, she glanced back once more, taking in the sight of the clinic that now buzzed with renewed energy. In a matter of months, one small act of compassion had transformed lives. Arya's, the clinic's, and countless animals who would benefit but from a future veterinarian's passion. Outside, the drizzle had lifted, revealing a bright morning sun. Scarlett couldn't help smiling as she stepped onto the sidewalk. She felt a quiet sense of fulfillment, knowing that sometimes all it took to spark real change was noticing the dedication in someone's eyes and choosing to invest in their dreams. And that brings us to the end of this story. Thank you so much for watching till the end. I hope it lifted your spirits. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to like this video and share it with your friends. Subscribe to our channel and turn on the notification bell for more inspiring stories. Have a wonderful day.